Hi everyone and welcome to our vocabulary channel. In this video, we are going to cover a very important topic in English. Words and word pairs that are often confused and hence misused in English. Confusable word pairs are often tested in competitive exams such as SAT and even MBA and government job entrances. First, let's discuss how such confusions can possibly arise. Well, there are a lot of words in English that sound alike or look alike because their spellings are almost the same. But these words generally have entirely different meanings. Some examples are words such as canvas and canvas, pore and pour, flaunt and flout, etc. It is easy to get them confused, and if you wrongly use the other word in your writing, most electronic spell checkers won't be able to point out the error in such type of situation. This is because electronic spell checkers can highlight the incorrect spelling of a word, but they can't flag up the misuse of a correctly spelled word used wrongly in place of the intended word. In this video lesson, we will attempt to cover some common word pairs that regularly cause people problems. The words follow the accepted British English spelling, though some of them do have different American spellings, which we will point out wherever required. The very first word pairs that we will cover are those that have the same meaning and almost same spellings, but are used as different parts of speech. There is a common pattern in these word pairs, which will help you tell the difference between the two words. One of them, which has an highlighted S, is used as a verb, and the other, with the highlighted C, is used as a noun. For instance, let us take the word advice. The word advice ends in ICE and is used as a noun, as is the case in the following sentence. Let me give you some free advice. An advice is a recommendation about what to do, and we often use it in phrases like career advice, medical advice, legal advice, etc. Here, it is important to note the fact that advice is a noun, which you can memorize through the tip that the word advice ends with "ice". Since I is clearly a noun, so is the word advice. The same mnemonic works for our next three word pairs as well. The counterpart of advice is advisor, which ends in ISE and is a verb. To advise someone means to recommend something or to give advice about something. After memorizing the fact that advice is a noun and advise is a verb, one may still have a doubt whether the particular sentence requires a verb or a noun. One useful tip to crack these cases is to substitute an appropriate word in the blank. If the substituted word is a noun, we need the noun word in that blank. But if a verb fills the blank appropriately, we need the verb word in that blank. For instance, a guy tells his friend, I don't know what to do. I need your dash. Now, advice or advise? See what else can go in that blank. I need your book, I need your pen, I need your pillow. Since book, pen, pillow are all nouns, we need a noun here. So the correct word is advice. And the friend says, don't worry, I will dash you on this issue. You would perhaps fill the blank like this. Don't worry, I will consult you on this issue, or I will talk to you on this issue. Since consult and talk to are both verbs, we need a verb in this blank, and so the required word is advise. A few more examples highlighting the use of both words are: when I was ill, my doctor advised me to rest and drink plenty of water. I followed my doctor's advice and got well soon. And there is a high alert in the area and the government has advised everybody to stay indoors. A verb or action word was required in this blank, so we used advised. A similar pattern is observed in the word pairs devise and devise. While devise, which ends with an "ice", is a noun, devise ends with "ise" and is a verb. A device is generally an object, a machine, or a piece of equipment that has been made for some special purpose. So I can talk of a device such as a smartwatch or a smartphone. By the way, a smartphone is a very useful and practical device. I can use it to make calls, click photos, surf the internet and play games. Devise, on the other hand, is an action word, a verb. To devise is to plan or invent something like a complex procedure, system, or mechanism by careful thought. So you can devise a plan, devise a strategy, or even devise a device. An example sentence highlighting this difference is, the young genius devised, which means planned or invented, a very clever home security system. The device or the piece of equipment was a burglar alarm which, when triggered, also sent automatic breach messages to the designated mobile numbers. And the third word pair following the same pattern is practice versus practice. Similar sounding, similar meaning. The only difference is that they are used as different parts of speech. Practice with a C is a noun and practice with an S is a verb. You can use the same mnemonic of ice being a noun for memorizing this. There is no such distinction in American English though, where practice with an ICE is both a noun and a verb, and practice is not used at all. Practice as a noun has several meanings and mostly refers to a habitual or customary action or the usual way of doing something. For instance, in the saying, practice makes perfect, you may note that there is a C in practice. And of course, we can use it in sentences like, he goes to the stadium for his football practice daily. Occasionally, we also use practice in other meanings, such as continuous exercise of a profession. For example, a doctor can have a private practice, and we use practice in sentences like, you must practice what you preach, meaning one must actually apply an idea or belief rather than just using it as theory. Practice with an S is a verb which means to carry out or perform a particular activity, method, or custom habitually or regularly, sometimes in order to get better at it. We use the word in sentences like, he practices football daily. Some example sentences highlighting the difference are, the boy practices playing the trumpet every day as he believes that practice makes one perfect. And the doctor had practiced medicine for 12 years before she gave up her private practice to become a writer. And our last word pair with this pattern is license and license. The word license that ends with a CE is used as a noun and the one with SE is used as a verb. Only in American English, the spellings of both noun and verb forms are LICENSE. The word license means a permit from an authority to own or use something, like you need an arms license to own a gun. To do a particular thing, like you need a driving license to be able to drive a car on public roads, or to carry on a trade, like a dentist would need a license to practice dental surgeries. So, in India, any practicing dental surgeon needs to be licensed and must have a dental surgeon's license issued by the Dental Council of India. Note the difference in the verb licensed and the noun license. And you will need different licenses in different trades, but this one is unique. A license to kill from a James Bond movie of this title. That's not it. A single letter difference in words can make a hell lot of difference in their meanings. And in this section of the video lesson, we would explore some such word pairs. The very first and the trickiest of such pairs is affect and effect. With a difference of only A and E, these words have overlapping meanings and so the confusion is compounded. One tip to remember the difference is that the word affect is always used as a verb or action word. Remember, A for affect and A for action. So the word affect denotes an action. Affect means to influence or to impact someone, to have an effect on someone. Effect, on the other hand, is mostly used as a noun and only sometimes as a verb. You would have heard effect in phrases like cause and effect. The word effect can be understood as the end result of something, a change which is a result or consequence of an action or other cause. Just remember E for effect and E for end result. Let's look at some examples now where we need to decide between the two words. The crux of the sentence is the same, so you can notice that the meanings of the two words overlap. The first sentence is, the tragic news dashed him badly. Affected or affected? Well, we want to say that the tragic news impacted or had a bad effect on him. Clearly a verb is required here, so the correct word is affected. The same sentence can be rephrased as, the tragic news had a bad dash on him. We are talking about the end result here, so effect. Another way to crack this is taking the hint of the word bad. It is an adjective, and adjectives come immediately before the nouns they describe or modify. So we should put effect, which is a noun, in this blank. Same is the case with sentence 3 and sentence 4, which in a sense say the same thing, that air pollution adversely impacts or affects our health. Same as saying that air pollution has an adverse effect, which is a noun modified by the adjective adverse. So that's the case of affect and effect majority of the times. Though sometimes affect may also mean to touch the feelings of someone or to move someone emotionally, as happens in the following sentence. The beauty of the scene will surely affect his indifference, meaning that the beauty of the scene will surely move him emotionally. And even effect as a noun has an alternate meaning. The word effect can be used for the lighting, sound, or scenery used in a play, film, or broadcast. Like in this sentence, the lighting and the sound effects in the laser show had an exhilarating effect on the audience. The confusion between these words is compounded by the fact that both affect and effect have alternate meanings apart from the ones we discussed. The verb affect can also mean to fake an emotion or a quality or to pretend something. For example, if I say that in social settings he affected a British accent, an interest in art and literature, and fake mannerisms, the sentence implies that this guy's British accent, interest in art and literature, and his manners were all fake, a pretense so that he could impress others. And finally, effect can also be used as a verb to mean to bring about or to cause something to happen. It is at this juncture that effect is confused the most with affect. Well, a handy tip is read the sentence in which we need to decide between affect and effect and try to substitute them with an alternate word or phrase. If the phrase bring about fits perfectly, we need effect in that blank. The terrorists tried to dash and escape through the well-guarded central jail. The sentence means the terrorists tried to bring about or cause to happen an escape through the well-guarded central jail. So the correct word is effect. Again, our Prime Minister has dash many policy changes. Our Prime Minister has brought about many policy changes. So the correct word for the blank is effected. Now let's move on to some lighter examples. Let's discuss 3 words which differ from each other by just one letter. Assent with a double S and assent with an SC could be easily confused. While assent refers to the act of agreeing or approval for something, ascent refers to the act of rising or climbing up through air. An example sentence for both words is, with the assent or the agreement of the Weather Bureau, They began their ascent or climb in a huge hot air balloon. A close third word is accent, which refers to a distinctive way of pronouncing a language, especially one associated with a particular country, area, or social class. We sometimes talk about the way someone sounds by defining it as a British accent or Indian accent. The next pair is altar with an A and altar with an E. The word altar means a sacred table in a church which is used for making religious offerings. It's a noun. The word alter, on the other hand, is a verb meaning to change. Like you might alter your jeans to change it into shorts. A sentence highlighting the difference is, the actress was supposed to walk up to the altar, the religious table, and cry her heart out, but the director altered or changed the scene at the last minute. The next word pair is baited versus baited. The first word hails from the word abate, meaning to become less intense or severe. Typically used in the phrase bated breath, if someone is waiting with a bated breath, he or she is in a state of great suspense or is very anxious and excited. Like you might wait with a bated breath for an interview's results. The other word with bait in its spelling is related to bait, which means food placed on a hook or in a net or trap to entice fish or other animals as prey. The word bait can be used as a verb as well. To bait would mean to entice or lure fish or animals etc. with a bait attached to a hook. In an alternative meaning, to bait someone would mean to deliberately annoy or taunt someone. A sentence highlighting the two words and the various shades in their meaning is, on the campsite, Mr. Hawk held on to his fishing rod with a bated breath. The bait was down and he was hoping for a good catch. Meanwhile, his wife, who was enjoying her novel, baited, that is annoyed or taunted, him about his unsuccessful fishing attempts in the past. Next are the words canvas and canvas. The one with a single S is a noun and the one with a double S is a verb. The word canvas means a type of strong, coarse and heavy cloth like you would have used canvas shoes. On the other hand, to canvas means to seek people's vote or support. An easy way to remember the difference is, the double S in canvas stands for seek support. When you canvas for something, you seek support for you or your ideas. Like during elections, politicians canvass all prospective voters in their area. An example sentence for the words is, the politician was wearing canvas shoes as he canvassed door to door. The next word pair is climactic versus climatic. They differ only because of a C in their spellings. You can distinguish between them easily by remembering that something related to a climax or ending is climactic. A hint, X of climax becomes a C when we add the suffix tic. And anything related to climate is climatic. You drop the ending E of climate to form the word climatic. An example sentence which will help you remember the difference is, after Titanic sinks, in the climactic or ending scenes of the movie, we witness the hero dying amidst extremely cold climatic or weather conditions. Another very important pair is appraise and apprise. To appraise is to assess or to set a value on something. Like a jeweler may appraise a diamond, a banker may appraise the value of a land or house, and your boss may appraise your performance in a so-called annual appraisal meeting. On a lighter note, when your boss is about to appraise you, you are sincerely hoping for a praise, which is a word hidden in the very word appraisal. But as a matter of fact, you're going to get a realistic assessment of your performance on the job. The other word is apprise. To apprise means to inform or notify someone. Like you might call up someone to apprise him or her of a recent development. A sentence highlighting this difference in meanings of the two words is, we will have our jeweler appraise the diamond and will give you a call to apprise you of its value. Then we have the words compliment and compliment. This pair is an easy one. A compliment is an admiring remark for someone. When you pay a compliment to someone, you are praising that person or expressing approval for something he or she did. Like, look at this girl telling her friend that her scarf looks so good with her dress. She is paying a compliment to her friend. Compliment, on the other hand, is an addition that makes something else perfect. The key to remember its meaning is the word complete. A compliment of something completes that thing and makes it perfect or improves on it. One sentence exemplifying both words is, Rita complimented her friend on the way her scarf complimented her dress. Another easy one is the pair stationery and stationery. In fact, these two words are cousins as they hail from the same root. While stationery with an E stands for materials such as paper, pencils and ink that are used for writing and typing. Stationery with an A refers to something that is permanent in its position and is not moving. An example sentence for both words would be, holding stationery in one hand, the boy accidentally collided with a stationary car in the porch. Next we have torturous and tortuous. While torturous relates to torture, which means a very unpleasant or painful experience, like I can say that when we were young, my brother often pulled my brace, which was surely a torturous experience for me. On the other hand, the word tortuous relates to torque. Remember, the word torque means a twisting force. So tortuous describes something that bends and twists, like perhaps a road on a hill. One sentence that highlights the difference in meanings of both words is, our journey up the long and tortuous road turned out to be very torturous as our car ran out of petrol and we were stranded without food or help for hours. Our next word pair is broach and broach. While broach is a verb meaning to raise a difficult subject for discussion, broach is a noun. It's an ornament fastened to clothing with a hinged pin and catch. A sentence that brings out the difference in both words is, the girl who was wearing the brooch finally broached the subject that everyone else had been avoiding. And one pair in which words are quite related in meaning, cloth and clothes with an extra E in spelling. While the word cloth is used for unstitched fabric, the word clothes exclusively stands for stitched garments and apparel. One example would be, her clothes were custom tailored from the finest cloths in bright hues and attractive prints. You would have noticed that sometimes words confuse simply because two or more of them may sound totally the same, in which case they are known as homophones. Derived from the roots homo meaning same and phone meaning sound, homophones are words that have the same pronunciation but different meanings or spellings. We have covered some homophones already in this lesson so far, like you can recall Assent and Ascent, canvas and canvas, or broach and broach. Well, some homophones are so basic in English language that they will pose no confusion at all. Examples of common homophone pairs are 8 and 8, hair and hair, sea and sea, rain and rain meaning rule, bare meaning naked or without anything on, and bear which is an animal, and nose versus nose, etc. And even if the two words sound similar, if not same, there is scope for confusion. A pair of very commonly used and similar sounding words is accept and accept. The key to learn them correctly is to appreciate the fact that both words end with sept, which is a common root between these words. The Latin root sept means taken, so when you accept something, you literally take it towards you. The word accept means to receive willingly or to believe something to be true. On the other hand, the prefix ex means out. So accept would literally mean taken out. So accept means to leave something out or to exclude. Just remember, accept has a big X which stands for exclude. Here is a situation which highlights the difference in these words. The teacher tells her student that everyone except you, which means everyone but not you, has completed the assignment. She further says, I would accept, which means I would receive willingly or believe in your excuse one last time, but not the part, that is, except the part that your notebook got torn by a dog. Another important pair of confusable words is flaunt and flout. To flaunt means to show off, to display proudly or ostentatiously, like one might flaunt one's new dress or a gadget owned by one. To flout, on the other hand, means to express contempt for the rules by disregarding them or disobeying them openly. One example sentence clarifying the meaning of these words is, as she stood by the roadside flaunting her western dress, the lady was puzzled at the conduct of the auto rickshaw driver who seemed to be flouting the traffic rules. Next pair of similar sounding words is palate and palate. The first word palate means the roof of the mouth and is related to the process of eating and the sense of taste. Easy to remember because the word palate ends with ate, while the second word palette is a board used by painters to mix their colors. And in our last pair, the words are homophones. They sound exactly the same. Pore versus pore. While the first pore means to flow or cause to flow rapidly in a steady stream, like you pour coffee into a cup. The second pore might mean a minute opening in some surface, such as pores on skin. But a second meaning of the word pore is to be absorbed in reading or studying something. A sentence highlighting the difference between these words is, while she pored over the English book for her exam, which means she was absorbed in studying, she poured herself a cup of coffee in order to concentrate better. So that brings us to the end of this lesson. If you liked it, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe our channel. There is a lot of other stuff related to English vocabulary on our channel, which I am sure would keep you interested. And thank you for your interest.